All right, test, test, test. We live, we live, we live. It's been a while, I know. And don't mind the clutter in the background. This is what happens when you have kids. This is what happens when you have kids. You get toys upon toys, especially a kid or a daughter with special needs. Mind you, she barely even uses some of those toys even more anymore. So it's on me. I got to throw out some of that stuff. So I will in due time. Don't judge me. But I know it's been a while since I recorded. Life has been busy. Life has been busy. I wrapped up my master's degree program. So this past spring was my last semester. um, and so I'm done with classes, thank God. It's been a grueling 2+ years of higher education, going for my graduate degree. It was strenuous. It was a lot of time spent just trying to pass classes, write papers, take exams, um, and it was an experience that man, I can't say that I'm jubilant over. I'm relieved that it's over, but uh, a lot of people are congratulating me, and I'm just like, listen, I'm just thankful, that it's over because it was, like I said, strenuous. And I, uh, I understand that in this economy, in this day and age, you may need, not in may, you do need some kind of credentials or paper to get ahead economically. This is not like how it was 60, 70, 90 years ago, where you can just crawl out of bed from high school, um, and get to work straight out of high school and provide for your family. Nowadays, nowadays you need a master. Nowadays, you need a doctorate to live comfortably. When I was growing up, a bachelor's degree was like the thing that you would try to attain to like get ahead in life. Um, and mind you, I grew up, in the 80s and 90s watching TV and watching movies where like, characters from the 60s or 50s would be like, "Oh, you're going to college? Oh, look at you, college boy. Oh boy," because that was college was looked at, I guess, back then by boomers as a not uppity, but just like an achievement or a milestone that was like high out there, high either out of reach or just like extra levels of progression. Um, but nowadays, you need that. It's like a necessity. And a bachelor's degree nowadays, forget about it. That's like a diploma. Shoot, nowadays a bachelor's degree feels like a middle school diploma with this economy. Um, and we'll get to the economy because I'm a Knicks fan, and Game 3 and Game 4 is coming up this week, and the tickets is crazy. Um, Ticket prices, I would say. But yeah, I graduated. I I definitely am thankful that the school part is over, the higher education for now. I still plan to go back to get more credits to because the more credits in my field, the more money, and we all need more money. So yeah, I'm gonna definitely go back in due time. Um, but yeah, I'm thankful. I'm thankful. I'm thankful. Uh, Pardon me one second. Sorry, I had to step away. I wanted to make sure my daughter was okay. She's sleeping, but I just want to make sure that she was sleeping. As a matter of fact, because sometimes she'll wake up and just like party time. for the rest of the day. Um, so yeah, she's good. But yeah, college. Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm thankful that classes are over. I gotta take one more. I have to take one more test, one more exam, one little exam that I need to study for. So I'll probably study some more today and this week. But other than that, it's over. I'm done, and I'm like I said, I'm thankful. Really, aside from my own responsibilities as a man, as a provider, as a father, um, I also got my degree largely because of my parents. Honestly, to show them that I did something with myself, that I attempted to do something with myself, that that's for them. When you have parents, especially immigrant parents who came over here, you want to show them that that was all, their sacrifices was for naught. It wasn't for anything but what it should be for, which is progression. So it wasn't for nothing, basically. So I made sure for my parents they have something they can see that okay, he did something. And that reminds me of a friend of mine. He lost his father a year ago, and I remember him telling me how on his father's deathbed, or in his final days, him and his father were able to have a conversation about you know his father reassured him that don't worry, we're good. And I got to see you. I'm paraphrasing here, but I got to see you be successful. I got to see you do your thing, to live your dream, to grow. And that meant a lot to my boy, that his father reassured him that don't worry, we're good. And I'm proud of you. You did your thing. Um, I think we all, well, I shouldn't say all, but I think a lot of us want that from our parents, that reassurance that, we're doing well, we're doing good, we're doing well, and that they approve of us. Um, and I've always wanted that, as well, more or less from my parents. For my father especially, I would say my father, me and him are alikes. We're both into music. My dad's a musician, so is my grandfather. Um, but we're both heavy passionate into the arts, into music. Um, and ever since I was young, I always tried to get my dad's approval with just music alone. Like I would put him onto things and show him what I'm listening to and show him my perspective on things and the style of music I like, the style of music I play, um, the style of music I write. And I wanted his approval, his stamp, if you will. And when my mom's a little different. But my mom, what I wanted more than anything was just a sense of appreciation, security, and love, and nurturing. Um, I wanted her to, I wanted her to know that not only that I love her, but I wanted to know that she loved me. Um, Another friend of mine last night that I ran into, he went through a tough divorce, and I remember him telling me last night that one thing that he had in his corner that he felt sorrow for that his ex-wife didn't have was like a strong foundation. He was like, Mike, you understand something? I have my mom and my sister, and they are my backbone, and they hold me down. And some people don't have that. Some people don't have riders, confidants, people who will back them no matter what, and that means something. That means something when you have a sense of security that no matter what, somebody has my back, somebody's loyal to me, somebody is dependable. I can fall and this person will help catch me or keep me up. And I understand that now more than ever. As someone who turned 40 6, 7 months ago, I understand like it's very important to have someone or have people in your life who, regardless of what you're going through, they won't let you go. They won't falter. They won't leave you high and dry. That sense of security is important. Um, all my life, especially pre-marriage, pre-kids, I was a loner. You know, it's like, but I didn't feel any type of way about it. Some would say I'm still a loner now. You know, or a recluse, and I get that. But he was even more back then. He was even more like, um, Robert De Niro has a quote in Heat where I guess the love interest, I forgot her name, but she goes, "Are you lonely?" And he's like, "I'm alone. I'm not lonely." And that was me. You know, I used to like being alone, or at least I was comforted by it. Um, I was comforted by it, and I didn't mind it. You know, I had my PlayStation slash 360. I had my films, my music. I'd hang out with my boys and play ball and hang out and stuff, but I was definitely the king of the Irish goodbye. Um, that should be the name of this episode, by the way, the king of the Irish goodbye. Because that was me, and you know, sometimes I would just go home to be by myself. Sometimes in my youth, I would go to a lady friend because I always valued women friends as far as, well, when I say women friends, I say that loosely, either women friends, women acquaintances, or interest. Either way, I always value that more than just, you know, the adolescent nature of, you know, boys will be boys hanging out. That wasn't my thing per se. I didn't really care to be in the club. I didn't really care to be drinking like that. So, you know, I was a recluse in that way. And I was the king of the Irish goodbye. If we were at a party or a function, I'll be there. I'll show up. And I may even show up early, just so I can leave early. But no matter what, I'll show up. But I will dip out. I will dip out. And I didn't really feel no shame over it, you know? I just felt like, yo, man. And also, I will say there's a mental health component to this where, like, I'm also in my head a lot. So, you know, depending on the space, depending on the environment, depending on the people around, the personnel around, I may get flustered fast. I may get over anxious fast. You know, my anxiety might flare up quicker than normal or quicker than others. So I definitely feel comfort in being alone at times, a lot. And I'm sure that's hampered me in other ways, damaged me in other ways. But even through the negative aspects of it, I've been comforted by it. Like I didn't really feel any type of way about it. But now, as I get older, I'm realizing, okay, you do maybe can benefit from some support system, depending on who you are, your lifestyle, and what you want out of life. Um, I still find myself alone a lot, but not as much as before. But again, now I'm married, and I'm gonna have kids, so I gotta be around people. But yeah, I'm sorry. As I'm recording, I'm looking at my mustache, and I'm realizing how much one talent I wasn't benefited with is a steady hand, an artistic hand, a drawing hand, a painter's hand. Because I'm realizing how uneven my mustache is, and little things like that. But my OCD, it kills me. So as I'm recording, I'm looking at myself like, damn it, I got to line myself up better. And let me tell you, nowadays, speaking of the economy, a barber is a luxury. And I know you might say, why do you need a barber? You're bald. But trust me, if you're bad at shaving your beard or shaping up your beard, a barber is still essential. And the crazy thing is like it's probably even more like costly in this respect because you know they'll charge you now for a shape up for your beard just as much as a haircut. So it's like, damn, I might as well have hair because At least with the hair, I would have got more bang for my buck as far as labor. You know what I'm saying? But just with the I could shave myself and then just do my beard by a barber or go to a barber for my beard. But they're still gonna charge me like I would if I had hair. So it's like, damn, I but anyway, well, my wig got snatched literally. Thank you, God. Um, if you have hair, don't complain in life. Even if you're homeless. You could be homeless, but it's like if you got a hairline, you're doing okay. You can still get a job and you can get a fresh haircut, get a job, and be back in no time. But if you bald and homeless, it's gonna be harder for you. But anyway, I digress. So yeah, that was my personal life event this past spring. Got my I finished my classes. Thankful for that. Um, other than that, a lot. Speaking of the spring, there's a lot more going on. My Knicks are in the playoffs. Well, playoffs. They're in the finals. It's June as I record right now. It's June. It's June 7th actually, and my Knicks are in the finals. I have not been able to say that phrase since 1999. 1999 was the last time I could say my Knicks are in the finals. And my life was so different in 99. You know, eighth grade, well, June 99, I'm in eighth grade. Yeah, the TRL is on. Backstreet Boys are like back to back to back to back number one with what's that song? You are my fire, the one desire. And I know you say I want it that way. Yeah. Which I have to admit, that was always a well written song. That was always a well written song. I'm sorry, Eminem. I get it. You went on that whole tirade in the 2000s with the boy bands and the pop acts, and you were raging against the machine, but I can't front. There was some quality music that came out of the pop scene in 99, 2000. It kind of peaked in like '03, '02, '03. It was all right enough. But that boy band, and mind you, when I say boy band, really, it's just the boy band era of the late '90s was really just piggybacking off a New Edition, which is piggybacking back off of Jackson 5, which I saw the Michael movie, so um, I'll speak on that too. But yeah, 1999, man, what a time, like I said, Napster. I was a huge Napster, guy. Even before Napster, a year or two prior, in 98, 97, I was on Netscape streaming music, you know. I was streaming songs 29, 28 years ago before Spotify, before Tidal and Apple Music. Uh, what's the other one? I forget the other one. Pandora. Um, I've been streaming music. We all have. If you were online back then, and I was online back then, 98, 99, 97. I was in AOL chat rooms, 12, 13, 14 years old, asking grown women age, sex, location. I was making my profile with the different fonts and colors and away messages on AOL and AIM. By the way, I think AOL was the peak of social media. The only problem was I don't know about you, but I had dial up service. So if you gave me AOL, I mean, if you gave me Wi Fi high speed 30 years ago with AOL, my life would have been exponentially better. The drawback of using AOL back then or using my computer back then was, you had to wait with dial up with the speed, but it was still what a time. But yeah, back then, I was online just being a goofball. Um, I'm 14 years old in '99, so well, at the end of '99. So yeah, at that time, I'm just a young kid who's enjoying the Knicks, um, enjoying my team make it. They were an eighth seed. They were like a Cinderella type of team. It was a lockout season, so the season was shortened. It was like 60 something games, I think. I forgot. It was a shortened season. It was a pressured season, and I guess through those means, the Knicks made it to the finals as an eighth seed. I think that they're the only eighth seed in the NBA to make it to the finals still. But they lost in 5 games to the Spurs. Spurs had just drafted a year prior Tim Duncan, who we all know is a legend, and they still had the Admiral David Robinson. So between those two, it was just like, um, it was, and plus Ewing was hurt. Patrick Ewing was hurt. Um, so it wasn't a shot in hell to win that, but it was just exciting to have that legitimacy of like your team is back in the finals. And I say back because what was it like a few years prior, 5, 6 years prior, that was my first experience in '94 with my team in the finals. When the Knicks went in '94 against the Houston Rockets and they lost in 7 games. They could have won in Game 6, but John Starks, and we don't have to rehash that. Um, I had a vivid memory of June 17th, 1994, being at home, and I think it was Game 5 or Game 6. No, Game 5. The Knicks at the Garden playing the Rockets for the finals, but O.J. Simpson was having a high-speed chase on national television, and that was like sort of interrupting the game. And I remember being 8, 9 years old, saying to myself, "What the hell is going on?" OJ, the guy from Naked Gun, why is he on the run? That rhymed. And I remember like feeling hope in '94 as a young Knicks fan. Um, I was happy. I remember that. I don't know what game it was. Was it Game 5? Yeah, maybe it was Game 5. That Ewing game where he had like what 22 points and double-digit rebounds and just like 4 or 5 assists. He was just going off that game. A few blocks. He was everywhere that game. It's to the point where I still watch highlights of that game on YouTube every few weeks, every few months. Um, because it was just a magical time for me. But I was so young, you know, I didn't appreciate it as much as I do now. And '99, I appreciate it as well. But I more so appreciate the my life around that Knicks finals in '99. Like I said, the '90s are my like the '90s for me was the peak of civilization. It was the peak for me, and it was the peak of my enjoyment of life. If you're a preteen or a teenager in '99, like I was, you have the WWE, or really for me, it was the WWF, Attitude Era of wrestling. You have, like I said, the Knicks. You have hip hop at a commercialized peak, per se. Um, you have so many different cultural moments. You have monoculture. Monoculture is where like we all were together as one America, or one world, experiencing different culture phenoms together. Whether it's Ellen coming out the closet on her show, it's a worldwide event, even though to me it didn't mean anything. Um, you have everyone watching the same programs, the same performances. If Michael Jackson is teasing to come to an award show, we're all sitting down to see if he comes out that night to the American Music Awards or the Grammys. It was all like we were all together for water cooler culture, or for me, because I was a kid back then, like, you know, going outside to catch up with your friends culture. I have vivid memories of like even the mid to early '90s, when my parents would tell me to go outside because I definitely was outside, riding my bike, playing and stuff. But I have vivid memories of like going outside, you know, in my building, to the park and to the community to play. And all me and my friends, we would just catch up. Yo, did you watch ECW last night? Yo, did you watch Soul Train? Did you watch whatever? What do you think? And we would all just like sit around like us young kids or like preteens or whatnot, and just congregate and just talk about what we witnessed the night before or whatnot. And it was all like a shared experience. And there's something to say about having a shared experience with other people, the connectivity of it all. And I miss that. Today we're all in our silos, separate, cut off in our own worlds. I see this a lot with comedy. Every day on Netflix, there's a new comedian with a new stand-up hour or whatnot, and I don't know who they are, but it doesn't matter because they got a crowd. People bought tickets, um, and they're packing shows. But it's like it's such siloed where it's like I can't tell what is the good scene, the bad scene, the popping scene. What is the scene nowadays? How are people finding out about different arts like um, and investigating it out in public? Um, you know, Listen, I grew up with tastemakers. Whether that was like VJs on TV, DJs on the radio, DJs on the mixtape scene, um, actual writers and magazine writers and authors who had their own spin and taste. And I'm not saying I was a zombie or I was brainless where I would follow people's opinions. No, but I did get perspective from talented curators growing up. Where now we live in an era where it's like you're on your own to figure out what is taste, what is quality, what is art, and that's there's some empowerment in that total independency and do as you will and degajo and figure it out on your own. But I do miss a sense of like trust that we had as a global community with people who could help curate a good time or curate um, moments. And we don't have that today. Not really. Not in the same vein. Not like it was 30 years ago. But yeah, 99 for me was also, even family wise, it was a good time. Like I grew up with a huge family, whether it was in Brooklyn, Far Rockaway, Jersey. Those were the main hubs of family gatherings, family connections, sleepovers, all in between. Have a straw, sure. Um, and that time for me, 99 was a peak of like getting all that still. That summer, even 99, I could still see that summer vividly in my head. Limp Bizkit, who gets too much hate, was popping that summer with like Nookie and the album Significant Other. It was just so many things going on in 99 that were positive, including my Knicks. But it's been what, 27 years since then? So now we're back in June of 2026 and the Knicks are back in the finals. Sounds crazy to say that. And not just back in the finals, they're up 2-0, 2-0 and going home for game 3 and 4. So, let's see. Let's see. I'm hopeful, but I'm not super confident that it's going to work out in our favor. Listen, if you're a Knicks fan, you're always going to have some doubt because they taught you over the last 30 years. Don't pump the brakes, like with your ambitions and confidence. Like I will live to disappoint you. That's what the Knicks say to you. And so I'm scarred and I'm abused, and I'm not shocked if things go haywire, but I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that the Knicks pull out all the stops. The Knicks, go for broke and win the series. People are saying Knicks in four. I'm not saying Knicks in four. I'm not calling a sweep. I'm not saying we win. I'm just saying we're up 2-0. and I say that I'm hopeful that we win this week. You know, I'm hopeful that it's put to bed. And one of the main reasons why I hope it's put to bed this week in 5 or 6 games, is because my anxiety can't take it. I don't need heartbreakers. Game two was on Friday night, and the Knicks were up by like 14, I think, in the fourth quarter. I think, and they lost that lead. The Spurs were up 1 or 2 in the fourth late, and it took some heroics and some luck and a bad Wemby play for the Knicks to hold out for a 1 point victory. So yes, they're on a 13 game playoff win streak, which is unheard of. Very few times teams have done that, and if they had, they usually won, like the 2017 Warriors, among others. But doesn't mean the Knicks can't flop it. So I'm just hopeful. I'm praying, and I'm really am praying. I'm praying for a lot these days. But we'll see. We'll see. Um, I am annoyed that the Orange Man is going to the game on Monday night. When I say Orange Man, I mean Mr. 45/47. Um, it's annoying that our current president, is going to the game. I get it. He's from Queens, but it's not about that. I'm a Knicks fan. He don't care about the Knicks. What he wants is the look. You know, what he wants is the attention. He's a narcissist, um, and he's going just to be seen. But my thing is, you're going to disrupt the good vibes of this Knicks team. You're going to throw this team off. Now, don't get twisted. These men are professional. These players, so they shouldn't let anything disrupt their attention span and focus from winning a chip. But it doesn't mean that our current president can't, you know, add to despair of our team. So I'm nervous. I'm nervous that his vibe, his juju, will throw off our team and the whole arena vibe. So hopefully he's in a skybox somewhere up high and he's not down on the courtside seats. And if he is, I'm sure he'll. Well, I can't even say I'm sure he'll get booed at because with these Knicks ticket prices, these people they're in the building. They might all be Wall Street yuppies and downtown stockbrokers. So they might love him. They might cheer him on when he enters the arena. Mind you, there's already Secret Service men saying that people have to get into the arena, the Garden, 2 hours early for security reasons, and have no bags on them. So it's going to be a zoo. It's going to be a madhouse. It's going to be madness at the Garden, at MSG, Madison Square Garden. But listen, get the job done, fellas. 4, 5, 6 games, even if you have to go 7, get the fucking job done. You came this far, and honestly, it's now or never. Because next year with OKC, they'll be back. Jalen Williams will be healthy. Get it done. It's been a magical playoff season. Like I said, 13 wins in a row. You were down 2-1 with Atlanta Hawks. You came back. You won that series. Then you went ahead and beat Philly. Then you went ahead and beat Cavaliers. Swept them both. This is your time. And you have a young Spurs team you're facing. Young. You're the veterans. You have the experience, the wisdom. You have what Wemby and them don't have. These guys are 22 years old in the finals. They're a little wet behind the ears. They're very talented and very defensively minded. Like the way they picked up Brunson immediately off the inbound, you know, you know, from the backcourt on, like full court pressing them. That just shows you with a lot of energy. That just shows you their youthful intent. And it worked with Shea and them, but for OKC. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm hopeful. I'm very much still hopeful. I'm not confident per se, but I'm hopeful. Um, but yeah, it's exciting. Exciting. Like I said, my heart was pounding Friday night with that last minute of the game where it was back and forth. It's too much for my heart. Too much for my heart. Pardon me. I'm so tired. It's too much for my heart. Too much. Yeah. So that's what's going on. I also want to get into uh, this Jay Z Roots picnic freestyle from last weekend. So I'm gonna share my screen, and hopefully I don't get flagged for this. Hopefully I don't. And I'm like, why should I? Because then I wasn't. I don't know. Hopefully I don't get flagged for this. But and I see Riverside has changed things lately, so it's hard to understand how to share screens lately. But I'm gonna try to share screens. Um, I'm gonna share with you the Roots picnic freestyle from Jay Z. I'm gonna see. What I want to do is decode. I actually want to decode two songs today. One's a freestyle from Jay. The other is a song that's personal to me, and I want to go over why I'm decoding them. But for this, let's go over the Jay Z freestyle first. Um, Here we are, Jay Z freestyle. So I'm gonna play this freestyle, or I'm gonna go through it. I'm gonna comb through it with you, and I want to see. I want to break down some of the lyrics and see what it means to me, and see what maybe what it means to you. But he definitely got off his. It seems like Jay Z last weekend at the Roots Picnic freestyle, he got off some of his. He got to vent basically and vent some of his frustrations over the last few years of various people that have come for him, that have tried to besmirch him. This is not uncommon of him. Jay Z is someone who, for the last 30 years, has always had rumors about him. Oh, is he a Freemason? Is he a devil worshiper? Does he have a kid? Did he cheat on his wife? Did what this and the third? Did he stab somebody? Is he a capitalist? Is he? I mean, not capitalist. Is he? Well, is he? Is he for the people? Blah blah blah. Did he derail Kaepernick? Um, he's had a lot on thrown at him, uh, but I want to go over this freestyle and see what you guys think about his response.
Hattie's turning 100. If she would have transitioned before I cleared my name, I would have hunted them. Every one of them playing these silly games. That 1-800 ambulance chaser would have wished one came. But 911 is a joke. Public enemy #1, I've been ranked.
So I guess Hattie is his grandmother, who is still alive at 100 plus years old, apparently. God bless his grandmother, who's still alive. Listen, both my grandmothers are gone. One passed away in the late 90s from AIDS. Well, 96 really, from AIDS, and the other one passed away in 2019. Yeah, it was 2019. So, you know, I'm envious that he has his grandmother still. So yeah, shout out to his grandmother. But I guess he's saying that like, Hattie's turning 100. If she would have transitioned before I cleared my name, I would have hunted them. So I guess he's trying to say that like he wants to make sure that he nips all these rumors and ideas about him to bed before his grandmother passes, so she doesn't leave with you know those thoughts on her mind about her grandson.
The rock's not crumbling. The leprechauns have magically run out of pranks.
The rock's not crumbling. The leprechauns have magically run out of pranks. So I guess the leprechaun would be Tory Lanez because he's short. Tory Lanez has a freestyle, by the way, on Sway in the morning, where he was on a chair, like on a high stool, rapping. Like, because Sway does the freestyles for, which is, crazy. It's always interesting to see rappers go on these shows and be expected to freestyle. It's like, why you want to freestyle for it? Listen to the music. Of course, I grew up with freestyles, so I can't be a hypocrite now. But I see the rapper's perspective. People like Vince Staples to be like, nah, Like, I ain't rapping for you right now. But there's a funny video on time of the Leprechaun, which is Tory Lanez. He was rapping for Sway on like a high chair, so he had a certain height, and then once he got off the chair, he was still the same height as before. So like, it just shows how short he was. Matter of fact, I don't think it was a high chair. I think it was like a low chair or a regular chair, and he still was short, whether he was sitting down or standing up. So, but yeah, he called him a leprechaun, and the rock's not crumbling. I guess that's in reference to Tory's father, who, after the verdict of Tory Lanez, shooting or being convicted of shooting Megan Stallion, the father was saying, Rock Nation is crumbling, it's their fault, blah, blah, blah.
Your son on the federal jail line mumbling something about having too much of this drink. You know how dumb that is? Another one fumbled his, wonder how I get the blame. Niggas' teeth is tumbling out their mouth, and somehow I'm the one who done it. It's a murder mystery game.
Niggas' teeth is tumbling. Well, Dame Dash, his former partner, Jay-Z's former partner of Rockefeller fame, Rockefeller business 30 years ago, has been on a crusade in tirade for the last, 20 years, just complaining about Jay, throwing shots at Jay. Ever since the Rockefeller split, they've been on rough terms. And really, it's been really mostly on Dame, just, constantly badgering Jay. He'll be on Art of Dialogue. He'll be on Breakfast Club. He'll be anywhere, just, really just going at Jay. And I don't necessarily know why. I never heard a complete, thorough answer that convinced me from Dame Dash's interviews of why he feels legitimate and disrespecting Jay. It just seems like an old grievance of like a bitterness of like, this guy moved on without you, and he progressed without you and became a billionaire possibly without you. And you, on the other hand, are struggling to pay for different things. You have financial woes, apparently, family woes, apparently. I mean, I just saw a video the other day of some old clip of some like family therapy session from some reality TV show that Dame did 10 years ago, I guess, where like him and his brothers were on bad terms, him and his kids were on bad terms. And, Dame has always had this persona, and I'm saying persona for a reason. I don't know the man personally. I know none of these people personally. But there's persona of like, he is an abrasive individual, to say the least, a disrespectful person. I think about that Hard Knock Life documentary, whatever I forgot what it's called, the Hard Knock Life tour documentary, Backstage. When you watch the Backstage movie, there's like a scene where there's like two scenes. There's like one scene where he's disrespecting DJ Clue, and there's another scene where like he's going at it with Kevin Lyles over a Def Jam jacket. And back then, when you watch that movie and you see like there's a grievance that Dame has because he feels like, yo, Kevin Lyles, even like, why are you putting Def Jam jackets on my artists? Remember Rockefeller? Yeah, we are a subsidiary of you, and we are in partnership of you, but we're still our own brand, our own label. So why are you putting jackets of your brand or of your company on my artist? And at that time growing up, you would think, hey, Damon is necessary. Dame will fight for his artists, fight for his friends, as abrasive as they can be, but for the right call, for righteousness, for the principle. And however he gets to the job done, oh well, so be it. People got to have shooters on your team, and that was my thinking process back then. But nowadays, I can see how after a while that kind of attitude, because Dame would really would be disrespectful on camera to people. He still is apparently, but I could see how that could rub partners of Dame the wrong way and make them want to like branch out eventually on their own. So I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, the teeth thing is because I guess there was a video not too long ago where Dame's teeth was falling out on IG. So yeah, Jay's having fun with that.
You had the cash cow and thunk it. Was you who pumped his? I'm the one who struck the pain.
You had the cash cow. I'm sure that's in reference to Dame as well, because Jay was a cash cow to Rockefeller, to their whole brand. A lot of people don't like Kingdom Come from from Jay-Z's 06 album, which is 20 years ago, Kingdom Come. I appreciate that album and a lot of the records from it, and I love Lost Ones. And the first verse of Lost Ones, Jay says, "I heard motherfuckers saying they made Hove say, okay, so make another Hove." And there's some truth to that. There's some validity to that. Dame, if you're that dude, make me again. Make another one. And continue your enterprise. But we haven't seen another Jay-Z since from Dame, so what does that tell you? But yeah, the cash cow. I get it. And I also like that phrase or that lyric in Lost Ones where he goes, should have stayed in food and beverage. Too much flossing, too much Sam Rothstein, which is a reference to Casino. Because in Casino, Robert De Niro plays Sam Rothstein, who's like a bookie who gets a high-level bookie who gets the opportunity through the Midwest Italian mafia to head up and to spruce up Las Vegas operations and to build up Las Vegas in general and gambling, but of course to funnel money through and to what's the word to launder money and just make a killing off of Vegas. And at first Sam Rothstein was a disciplined bookie, no flash, like he stuck to his numbers, stuck to the point, respected his title, and he was officially food and beverage as far as the application for his managerial Vegas position, but he was meant to be low key and just keep it about business. But throughout the film, you see he starts feeling himself. He starts getting an ego, and lo and behold, his evolution, his dark evolution, kind of helps bring the whole operation down. So, Jay has always had this opinion on record, on wax, about Dame and how Dame moves. So this is nothing new as far as his opinion on Dame.
That hill you can die on. There's way too much flack that comes from those planes. I'm killing them softly.
That hill you can die on, Lauryn Hill from the Fugees. Fugees had a single in '96, a Roberta Flack, the Flack pun, remake of Killing Them Softly. So Jay is using the Fugees, Lauryn Hill, Roberta Flack, Killing Them Softly pun to further his point about, how he feels about Dame.
Misunderstood don't need to be explained. You want it one way, it's the other. I still on you suckers, I'm all of you niggas gang. I ain't much for me, it's no how.
I'm a Wire fan. So, when he referenced Marlo, matter of fact, how do you say it again?
I still on you misunderstood don't need to be explained. You want it one way, it's the other.
You want it one way, but it's the other way. You want it one way, it's the other. If you remember from season 4 of the Wire, my daughter's here, and mind you, she's like half naked. I gotta put a shirt on her. But you want it one way, but it's the other, and that is a reference to Marlo. When Marlo tells the security guard, "You want to step to me in this perspective, but it ain't gonna work out for you. It's gonna be the other way." And, that's after Marlo was caught stealing from the convenience store. Let me just change my daughter real quick. Come on. Sorry about that. So yeah, that was his explanation on that.
I still on you suckers, I'm all of you niggas gang. I ain't much for meetings, know how. Cancel the brunches, I remember the hunger pain. The price of the bricks going up. It's gonna cost you a beat to even say my name.
You know, the price of the brick growing up, more Marlowe references. I'm a big Wire fan. The Wire is the best literary piece of art we've had. I don't care if it's Shakespeare. I don't care if it's the Odyssey. I don't care if it's Langston Hughes. I don't care if it's The Godfather. You name it. The Wire is the number one piece of literary offerings we've ever had. And, you know, he said it's going to take more than a beat to say my name. But obviously, a Beyonce / Destiny Child pun. He's always shouting out B, his wife.
You ever heard of a Wonder King? My children and some of them. Have you niggas no shame? Y'all trying to get under skin?
He said, "You ever heard of a Wonderkin?" Which is like a special child. That's definitely a reference to Kanye, who was saying some wow. Listen, Kanye or Ye, whatever the fuck he calls himself. Um, he been saying wild shit for a while now about Jay and his kids. You know, he made accusations of his kids being special needs. I think he used the R word, um, or something to that effect. So I, and Kanye or Ye, whatever. He pulls that whole mental health thing, that bipolar thing. But as someone who grew up with mental health, uh, uh, people with mental health challenges around them, and I got kin and family who are bipolar and whatnot. My god brother in particular, among others. There is this like duality of emotions you have when you're dealing with people who have bipolar or mental health concerns. Where on one hand, you may find yourself to be distraught, confused, and saddened by their state, by their trying times and their frustrations that they're going through and their struggles. And it's sad. It's sad, and I've seen it. I've seen it on more than one occasion. I've seen bipolar diagnosis really ruin uh, families, relationships, and it's something to have sensitivity over, no doubt. Um, and I do have compassion for that. Like I said, I have a personal experience with my cousin, my god brother. Um, I have vivid memories of my god brother just like threatening my family, making lewd remarks, lewd comments, not being able to trust him with, machinery, with cutlery, knives especially, and just not even be able to trust them with your address because you don't know if they're gonna pull up and do some wild shit. So I understand that sentiment of like trying to have compassion for people who are going through mental health concerns, but at the same time, there is this feeling sometimes with people who have mental health concerns, where you're like, Are you playing me right now? Are you really going through it right now, or you know what I mean? Like, are you bullshitting me? Because sometimes you feel like, nah, they know what they're doing right now. They're not that crazy. I can't explain it. You have to go through it. You have to go through it with somebody that's special to you. And we're going to get to mental health later because it's a big topic this week, especially. Um, but yeah, I understand both sides of it. So it's like, you know, he says later on,
I really get under skin as an unharmed player.
obviously that, yeah, and obviously that was a pun. Um, you know, with which I'm tired of the Lance Rivera puns, to be honest. You know, about the stabbing. Like I said, we talked like earlier, yeah, earlier 1999. That was a 1999 moment as well. Aside from the Knicks finals, yeah, that too, that whole situation with him and on. But I'm like, listen, I'm not talking about. I am not myself talking about a fight I had at the schoolyard 30 years ago in fifth, fifth, sixth grade. You know what I'm saying? Or really, it was sixth grade. I'm not reminiscing on that. I clocked him. I saw his face at the schoolyard. I was like, yeah, that's 30 years ago. Like, that guy's probably a millionaire now. So it's like, I don't really care for that, you know, especially if you're not outside still on that time as far as doing it actively. If you are a docile family man now, you know, you don't have to use that pun, in my opinion. But I do understand on the flip side to play devil's advocate. Yeah, I understand the idea of like, don't play with me because my tendencies are still there. If it has to come out, it'll come out. Don't play with me. So I understand that. I understand.
Y'all thugs with y'all thugs again. Everybody think they're the ones insane. You're no maniac. Watch y'all saniac in my presence, nigga, shrink.
Yeah, and I like that. I like that wordplay and that sentiment. You're no maniac. Look how sane he acts in my presence. He shrinks, and the shrink is double entendre because you know you shrink in size, you shrink as a man, but also a therapist was shrinking. So you know, listen, Jay is always gonna be Jay. Like people have this idea of like, Jay is not nice. He's always gonna be nice. In my opinion, in the last 15, 20 years, his flow has slowed down, has slowed down as opposed to, you know, 30 years ago where he was like sharp, you know, that the Jigga era, you know, he was just like more fast paced rapping style. And I don't mean the early 90s. I'm talking about from like that 96 to like 01, 02, 03. He used to be a lot more faster with the delivery. Now he's more like breath control and spacing. Well, not breath control, but just like spacing and letting words hit more. I get it's cool, but this is where I appreciate that.
I need a new therapist. This
All right, it's acapella, so it has to breathe more. There's no beat.
shit is not working. I'm truly on the brink. Y'all better not encourage him. Y'all don't want me to think these thoughts that I think. That nut ass nigga still stuttering.
That nut ass nigga still stuttering. Like Philly, all my Philly friends, my Philly people, they always use that phrase, nut ass nut. My boy Tyrone, he'll hit me up. You nut ass Knicks fan, like nut. First of all, pause when I say nut. But that Philly slang nut, niggas a nut. Nut. Yeah, that nut ass you nut ass nigga. That's some Philly shit. Shout out to my homegirl Shauna, also from Philly. She always use that frame. And it's funny when she says New York to me. She'll say New York, New York. You know, you New York dudes or New York. So like they don't even say York, New York. So I love Philly. I love Philly as a city. I love Philly people. But yeah, that phrase, that nut ass nigga so stuttering. He's definitely talking about Oskino Vasquez, who is a state property member. Um, he just like Dame has been on interviews for the last X amount of years. you know, complaining, whining, always talking about Jay, always talking about Freeway and Beans and whining because life didn't turn out the way he wanted to. And Oskino has been through a lot. I mean, he's lost children. He's lost children. He was shot 9 times, jail bids, all that stuff. So he's been through his own trauma, you know, and this will be a situation, like I said, where I am trying my best, especially after this week, have some compassion for people who are going through trying times, mental health anguish. Um, I don't have any hateful bones in my body about people who are going through turmoil because I do want people to rise above their grief and their trauma and their mental health. But you have to also fight for yourself. You can't sit back and just like whine and complain about life, but not fight for yourself. So that's my and on top of that, hurt others in the process. I don't want you to hurt yourself, but I damn sure don't want you to hurt others too. That's just being selfish. But yeah, that nut ass nigga so stuttering is definitely at Oskino because Oskino stutters a lot in his interviews, whether it's Vlad, Art of Dialogue. Mind you, Art of Dialogue is very biased to Tupac. I get it. He's a Tupac fanatic, but his comment section is crazy.
That chatty patty down on his luck again.
That chatty patty down on his luck again. Obviously, that phrase comes from this dude, Dame, because Dame coined that phrase, chatty patty, you know, whenever that first Breakfast Club interview was with him and Murder Mook years ago. And, you know, now the irony is now comes back to haunt you because now you're being chatty patty. You're doing Art of Dialogue. You're doing all these different interviews where you're constantly berating other people, constantly talking about other people. You are being chatty patty. So it's like the hypocrisy.
Quest introducing me to Jaguar. I don't know why I still fuck with him.
I don't even entertain nothing Jaguar Wright says. Jaguar Wright reminds me of the annoying Hotep person who's unhappy with life. Like we all know, especially if you're black, we all know that angry Hotep who will just like have a bongo or drum and be like, what is higher? What is learning? What is higher learning? And then just start angrily be annoyed with everything in life. Why is the sun so bright? That's because the white man made it bright. There is a remote on the moon that controls the brightness of the sun, and it's to kill plants at certain times of the year, so you don't eat certain vegetables, my brother, and just all that kind of bullshit, just like nonstop berating of culture and people to make themselves seem wise and make the whole world seem demonic. And I'm not saying the world doesn't have a plethora of demonic individuals and spirits around us. That can all be true. But that doesn't mean that when these people, the Jaguar Wrights of the world, are professing it, that they're not saying from an altruistic, true place. A lot of times they're also trying to be self-serving and the attention. For a lot of people, even the Hoteps who think they're do-gooders, they think they are leaders and wise and progressives, they can also be self-serving too. They can be just as self-serving, just as much, um, just fools as others.
You was wondering why I do the freestyle rehearsal.
So yeah, he's just taking his shit.
That lady back on the stuff, she sound like she in love with him. Her kid can't even take their kids. Enough of them. Her kid can't even.
That lady back on that stuff. Hold on.
Do the freestyle rehearsal. That lady back on the stuff, she sound like she in love with her.
That lady back on that stuff, she sound like she in love with
Her kid can't even
in love with him. Her kid can't
Take that
even
kid.
take that kid.
enough of them.
Enough of them. So it seems like he's talking about, I don't even want to say her name. I don't even want to say her name. Her name rhymes with Tricky Cabbage. I don't know. I don't want to say her name. I don't even want to give her that much light. Her legion of followers are toxic. Not all of them. Not all of them, but a lot of them are. And you know, she's been going off herself for the last few months, if not years, chastising Jay. For whatever reason, she claims financial issues. I don't know. I don't even know her grievance. It seems like it's financial situations going on with her. That's leading it, but I don't even know, to be honest. And now she's cozied up with Trump and MAGA lately. Listen, you know what you do politically is your business. That's not me. I consider myself a progressive, if not damn near a Democrat socialist, but I allow and encourage people to do and be who they want to be and support who they want to support. I just want people to be more focused into politics, because to me, we all should be tuned into politics. Yes, I am tapped in to the finals. I'm a Knicks fan, die hard, and I can tell you multiple stats and figures and whatnot, plays, but I'm just as much into politics and government, especially nowadays, because we should have just as much enthusiasm about how our world is being governed, how our country is being governed, as much as how much those Jimmy Choo shoes cost, or how much those new Harachis cost. Harachis, remember those? Um, so you know, I'm not mad. I don't begrudge people when they are into politics, and if you choose to be a right wing, hard right conservative people, so be it. That doesn't mean I'll isolate you or ostracize you. You can still come to the function. You can still congregate with me if you want, and if you feel comfortable talking to me about your positions and your feelings and your opinions, I'm more than happy to speak with you, because I feel with dialogue, God willing, I understand you, and God willing, you understand me. So I ain't tripping. But I do think with her, and I won't say her name. I will not say her name. It rhymes with Tricky Cabbage. um, I feel like it's disingenuous and it's out of anger and it's misplaced, and also hypocritical, considering she's an immigrant. But whatever, that's not my place. Whatever.
A rapper can't be my eye.
But yeah, he definitely makes the pun here about how like she or her husband cannot even pick up their kids because her husband is a registered sex offender and whatnot, and their whole situation is a mess.
I got MAGA Republicans. Them shots came from the very top of the government. Good luck with them. I'm governed by God. You try to break the government. I prayed for 40 days. My neck get flooded again.
He's making the claim that, you know, maybe her gripes are not just her own personal gripes, but also comes from a higher power. I don't mean God, but like a higher political power. Who knows?
Risk get flooded again.
Who knows?
My net worth went up again. My next update, the jig is up. Nigga, I'm up 10. Wrong chart, champ. You gotta look up again. Niggas look up the Hove. I never looked up to them.
Okay. The jig is up. Nigga, I'm up 10. Niggas looked up to Hove. I never looked up to them. By the way, I have to admit myself in the last few years, especially, I hate saying the word nigga. You might catch me saying it once in a while, but I've really pulled back from my youth of saying the word nigga. Largely because I just feel like, it's played out. It's played out. And I do wish I was living in the 70s and 60s where like the word brother was used more, the word sister was used more. And I do find myself lately in life saying those phrases more, brother and sister, because they just mean more to me now. I don't know. I guess I'm getting older too. In your youth, you just say rebel shit and say ignorant stuff. Look at me saying shit stuff. And I find myself now just being disinfatuated with that word. Don't get twisted. Sometimes it's apropos to be used. Sometimes it's appropriate. Um, and I always would love that Chris Rock bit where there's a civil war between black people and niggas got to go. It's a classic phrase or a classic bit that still stands the test of time. So I get it, but I've fallen out of love with being a rebellious no. You know, I'm over it, and I love saying brother now in every context. But don't get twisted. I reserve brother mostly for us, for brothers. Even if you know what I mean, if you know, you know. Black people.
The crackers got your publishing gangster. Go talk tough to them. Don't talk.
But yeah, the jig is listen.
I never look, nigga, I'm up 10. Wrong chart, champ. You gotta look up again. Niggas look up the Hove. I never looked up to them.
So yeah, the jig is up is a reference to a Drake line from his recent album, the Iceman album. And by the way, Drake dropped the Iceman project. He dropped 3 albums actually. I gotta be honest, I haven't listened to them. I haven't listened to the album yet, or the albums plural yet, and I don't know when I will because I don't have the same capacity as I did in my youth to listen to double albums, let alone triple albums, but double albums anymore. It's a lot of content. Life is way more busy for me today. When I was in my youth, I used to be frustrated when a rapper dropped an album that was like 9, 10 songs, 11 songs. If you drop anywhere between 12 to 15 tracks in the album for an album, that was a sweet spot to me. But even then, I was greedy back in my youth. Like, nah, man, you should have dropped more songs. I want an 18-track album. I want a 20-track album. But now in my 20s, in my 40s, I realized, nah, man, keep it like 12 to 15 tracks the most. Get in, get out, say your piece. And also, I feel like if you want to tell a story about where you are in this frame period, if you want to tell a story about where you are currently in life, a 12 to 15 track album should be suffice to get your theme across, to get your perspectives across, your concepts, and to get in, get out. I feel like now more than ever, I'm hearing filler in 20 track albums. And mind you, I'm saying 20 track albums. You got people today dropping double albums and triple albums. Like J. Cole dropped that album a few months ago, The Fall Off, where it was a concept album, but it was double album. And even that I haven't gone through fully because I did like once quickly his J. Cole album. I went through it once, but one, I wasn't that impressed, and two, it was a labor. It was a labor to get through that album. And that was a double album. Now I got this 3 albums to get through with Drake. It's going to be a while before I even attempt it. I will say I did like Burning Bridges, where he's getting at Rocky. It's a little cheap to be getting at Rocky and Rihanna still. I mean, listen, dude, y'all broke up. She moved on, had babies with another person. Is what it is. But Drake still takes shots, and I can't front. That song "Burning Bridges," it's definitely catchy and it's definitely dope. Mostly the beat I like really, but it's cool. But the album itself, or all 3 albums, I did not listen to yet. No, not really. And I don't know when I plan to because it's a lot, man. It's a lot of freaking labor to sit down and to consume that much music. Maybe in my youth it would have been a much more exciting, fun time to do so, but I'm too tired now. So we'll see. But yeah, he says niggas look up to Hove. I never looked up to them.
The crackers got your publishing gangster. Go talk tough to them.
The crackers got your gangster publishing. go talk tough to them. He's alluding to the idea of the whole Lucian Grange, situation where apparently, different people have his publishing from his first few albums before 2017, and you know, we don't know Drake's business as far as his money. I don't, but he has been going to court trying to sue over Not Like Us and the promotion and marketing of it, and he's fighting his label, I guess, or his parent company, and apparently he don't own some of his publishing, but who knows? Who knows? But yeah, this is Jay getting at Drake or responding to Drake because, like I said, Drake apparently on the Iceman album got at Jay first.
Don't talk success to me.
I'm assuming because maybe Jay gave Kendrick that platform for the Super Bowl, and maybe there's a civil war going on between those two for way back when. Who knows?
Niggas is workers. In perpetuity is how your contract is worded.
In perpetuity is how your contract is worded. He's claiming that you locked in for a lifetime contract. There's a video out there of Birdman, and I say Birdman, I don't say Baby. Birdman, and his brother Slim saying that they're forever business with Drake. So who knows?
Man. The roots remember, even when the trees pretend, not too much on my name.
The roots remember, even when the trees pretend, not too much on my name. The roots remember, even when the trees pretend. It's good. It's a double entendre to say that. It's a double entendre to say that when you're in front of the roots performing. But the roots remember, even when the trees pretend. That's important. Sometimes people forget where they come from. People forget their genesis. And as the trees flourish and the leaves flourish on the trees, you act brand new, but don't get twisted. From the root, we know how you came up, how you were, and what you truly are and who you truly are. So I get it. It's poignant. It's a poignant line. Bars. It's definitely bars.
Don't forget who I am. Hattie loves her Shawnees. SHAWN. I find it a dog when she put the S at the end. You don't know, the show ain't even begin.
And he ended it right there pretty much. Yeah. Like I said, I was digging it. I dug it. I'm someone who, when 444 came out 9 years ago, when 444 came out, I thought it was cool. I was happy for No ID. And I thought it was like a therapeutic album he needed to get off, in response to his own drama, infidelities, and whatnot from the Lemonade lore from Beyonce. It was him coming to terms with himself about where he was in life. So I get it. But I wasn't as much of a fan of that album as other people were. People love 444. I like certain songs like Marcy Me, OJ. There's some songs I took from it for sure. Legacy. But I also felt like it spoke more to that flow he's at now, where it's just like the delivery is very slow and whatnot. And that's not for me. I like when Jay is more fast paced, the Jigga style. But let's see if he drops something this year. He's celebrating Reasonable Doubt, 30 years. He's celebrating Blueprint, 25 years. Wow, 25 years since Blueprint. I was a junior in high school when Blueprint dropped, 11th grade. And I bought Blueprint September 10th, 2001, the Monday night prior. I bought it at a local record shop who was selling it early. And I went home that night. I walked home that night with it. And I remember playing it like, wow, this is amazing. And the next day I went on a school trip and you saw what happened. So what a time to be alive. With that being said, let's see if he drops something new. Listen, he's solidified. You don't have to drop anything new though. No, you don't have to. He's good. He's solidified as an artist. But if he does, hey, I'll welcome it. I'll welcome it, but we'll see. But yeah, that's That is his Roost Picnic uh, freestyle. Let me know what y'all think. Um, I also want to highlight on a personal note another song, well, an actual song called "New You." "New You" is from a group of mine that I love since I was a kid called The Far Side. And The Far Side had an album from 2004 called Humboldt Beginnings. Um, and they have a song called New You. And I love New You. And in New You, there it's about pretty much the theme of the song is the group coming to terms with people in their life that they thought they knew but have made drastic changes in their life. Drastic changes. I want to play it, but it's like, damn, I don't get flagged because YouTube will flag your ass. They will flag your ass. I can try. Let's see. I can try. Should I try? Let's try. Let's try. Let's try. Yo, by the way, YouTube ads are crazy. YouTube ads are crazy. I can't stand them. Mind you, I pay for a service that have limited YouTube apps because that's how greedy YouTube is. Where they have different tiers now of premium. Where it's like, yeah, we're premium, but we're semi-premium, so we'll give you a few advertisements if you play music. It's like, what's the point? What is the point? But that's how greedy this world has been, and not for nothing. That just shows you how much streaming services, whether it's the increase in pricing for Disney Plus, HBO Max, Hulu, Paramount Plus, all these streaming services, they keep stars. Well, not really stars, but a lot of these streaming services, they keep increasing the price of their services because they're not really profitable businesses. They're not. And you know better. If you're not profitable, why are you doing this? Either lower the price or don't get into the business. Well, but they want to make the consumer suffer. And that's why the Amazon Fire Stick over the last 10 years has got so much, has helped out so many people out there. I'm not saying I do it, but I won't say I've never done it because I'd be lying to you. But yeah, greedy. Anyway, The Far Side, New You. Like I said, one of my favorite Far Side songs. It's up there. The chorus goes, I thought that I knew you better than that, better than that, better than that. And that's the you. And I thought I knew you. I thought that I knew you better than that. I thought I knew who you were, but people will surprise you. Like, no, you don't know me. I'm fucking full of surprises. And it can be disheartening when you put faith into people and they blow up in your face and disappoint you. Or on the flip side, it could be sad when you thought you knew somebody, but you really didn't know what they were going through and how much they were struggling. Charlie, cut it out. Charlie, cut it out. But sorry. But yeah, when you think you know somebody and you don't, it's just hardening. It's just hardening. And when you thought that you knew somebody, but you don't know that they really were struggling and they really were going through things, and it was affecting their own mental health, affecting their community, what they're going through. It could be sad. It could be sad. And this song means something to me because both verses highlight both sides of that coin, and both sides of that coin I've explained.
I thought that I knew you better than that, better than that, better than that, better than that. I thought that I knew you better than that, from the beginning it was known. Had a brother here, but now he's gone. Real long. He's not 6 deep, find him on 6th Street. His mind now mincemeat, sleeping on concrete. Could tell when.
Listen to those first few bars, man. I know that personally. From the beginning, it was known. I had a brother here, but now he's gone. He's not 6 deep. I find him on 6th Street. His mind now mincemeat, sleeping on concrete. Basically, he's saying my boy is alive, but he's homeless and crazy, and he's strung out, and I miss him. I understand that. I've dealt with that. Like I said, I mentioned my godbrother earlier. And how, like, he through mental health, really, not really through drugs, but through mental health, he's gone. His mind's gone. But I also figured out that recently someone else that from my past is also going through it, and in and out of jail, abuse of liquor. That liquor will get you, man. That booze will get you if you allow it to, especially if you have demons. And it's got that person caught up, and it's messed up. I feel terrible for that person. I don't want to see anybody from my past that I once had an affection for and caring for to be in jail, to be caught up, to be going through it. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. So I understand this verse. I root for everybody to have growth and to, rise above their trauma and drama. But yeah, this is a very great song.
When she went to sleep, she still weep about a big bruh. Overdid it one day, decided to hit her. No booze, no drugs, no players, no thugs, no love, no hugs. When she caught me ahead, you Zach, I never, me and my man go back way before the lose act. I never thought that he would lose it and do that. Always used to be in my house. Now I can't wait to smack the taste out his mouth. They say that money is the root of all.
I know that feeling too. Always used to be in my house, and I can't wait to smack the taste out of his mouth. They say the money is the root of all evil, but not having money is the root of all evil. I feel you. I've had that where, like, people I used to be close with, now it's like, I can't stand this person, or I can't be around this person. At the very least, I can't be around this person for my own sake. And yes, they say money is the root of all evil, but not having money is the root of all evil. Yes, they say money is the root of all evil, but not having money is the root of all evil. That is true. People say that, money can't buy you happiness. But you know what? It can alleviate stress. Money can alleviate stress. Now, maybe with what you do with your personality, it can add stress. More money could be more problems. Sure, I get that. But don't tell people who are going through it financially that money can't help you or money is evil. Not necessarily. It's what you do that it's what you do that matters. But yeah, I'm rooting for everyone who's going through any crisis in their life to do better, to be better, and to heal. I have no ill will towards anybody in my past who is now suffering. I want them to succeed. So I'm gonna leave it like that, and let's say go Knicks, and I hope Trump backs out from going to Orange Man. But we'll see. Anyway, that's my time. That's my check-in. I'll probably be back later with my cousin Andy because he wants to chop it up further about the J thing and other things. Probably Iceman, which I have not listened to yet. But we'll see. We'll see. Anyway, y'all be safe.